We will do the closing statements in the order of draw. And the order of draw was Ms. Lerner, Mr. Muller, Mr. Gilbert, and Ms. Weinstein. So that's how we go.
First of all, I noticed my 2 children are asleep back there, and I'm really hoping my husband is not. Let me once again, it's really deflating. Let me once again thank the League and all of you for coming here. Thank you for this opportunity. I am proud to be running on the slate that I'm running on this election. We have an incredible team of thoughtful leaders. You'll hear from the Board of Ed next. And I've learned something from each and every one of them. Most especially, I've learned from my running mate, Dan Gilbert, who is a true leader, a man of integrity, a man of objectivity. I've also had the privilege of getting to know Gayle and David as fine candidates and people. We all bring different strengths, different experiences to the table of selectmen. I talked a little bit about my strengths when I opened. I'd like to elaborate on those. I offer Weston accessibility. I'm in town 24/7 and I'm ready to work. I have 20 years of business experience with a strong history of entrepreneurism. I have a reputation for bringing budgets from the red to the black. I have a strong history of fund development and have successfully raised over $250,000 in the nonprofit sector. Now let me tell you what I believe. I believe in supporting our schools and always striving for quality education for every child that walks in the door. I believe in fiscal conservatism, small government, and working hard to minimize property taxes with a focal point that is affordability. I believe no one person or group is more important than another. Now you know who I am, you know what I believe and what I've accomplished, and I'm asking for your vote on November 3rd. Thank you.
Thanks. The League of Women Voters is celebrating its 90th birthday next year, so I want to thank them and congratulate them. They do an incredible job at doing what their mandate says, which is keeping informed citizen participation in government. And on a very personal level, when my dad's family left Germany in 1939 and moved to Switzerland, they were taken in by a woman named Alice Paul, who was the author of the Equal Rights Amendment, but B, she was in Geneva in charge of the World Party for Equal Rights for Women. So on a very personal basis, this is very, I'm really proud to be sitting up here. I talked the other day at another forum about the book written by Doris Kearns Goodwin about Abraham Lincoln called Team of Rivals, and the importance of bringing people from different backgrounds and different groups together for ultimate benefit to the town, the country, or the region that they serve. And as I mentioned earlier, this is 3 of the 4 of us are going to be the Board of Selectmen, and we come from different perspectives and different backgrounds, but our ultimate goal is to work for the town. And there has been some question in letters to the editor about the importance of experience, but I would argue that it's incredibly important to be able to deal with this. For those of you who haven't seen it, this is the budget. This is the little book that we get, and this is the final version of it. The important thing is this is due in 6 to 8 weeks. Whoever is elected first selectman in a week has to pull this together, has to work with 20 to 30 different groups in town who give the input from which a budget is drawn. What motivates me to do this? I've used a quote by Marion Wright Edelman before. Service is the rent we pay for being. I am intent on giving the town the benefit of 25 years in the finance industry and 10 years in town government. Importantly for me, this is about modeling for my family, modeling for my kids. My wife and I are active volunteers, and I think that we, as a town, have a tremendous ability to make a difference. If I look back at what this town did in our Sister City program after Hurricane Katrina with Lacombe, it shows that in a crisis, this town pulls together. We're not in a crisis right now. We're in a situation that requires experienced leaders in challenging times. Thank you.
Mr. Gilbert.
No, leave the book here. I've earned 3 graduate degrees at night, MBA, MA, PhD, over 25 years. I can handle what's in this book. This isn't about experience. This is about leadership. Pardon me? Somebody make a comment? Sorry. This is about leadership. This is about who you're going to entrust to find the balance between our great schools, our seniors, and our people in need. That's a challenge. From my perspective as first selectman, I've got 3 priorities. Maintain maintain property taxes at a minimum increase, protect our budget reserve, and maintain our AAA credit rating. Those three things are critical because they provide the foundation for a great school system and for the effective delivery of services. I have an awful lot of respect for Gayle, but the challenges that our town faces require some pretty unique skills. I've got a very strong financial background. I have 17 years of corporate business experience. I'm an organizational psychologist, so I have a good sense for what it takes to team. We have some very critical groups in the town: Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen, Board of Education. And what the First Selectman is going to have to do is bring those groups together onto the same page. My experience will help. But maybe more important is that I've been on your Planning and Zoning Commission for 6 years, and I have an honest respect for every person who's ever come into the room and for their opinions. For me, Weston's best years lie ahead, and that's going to take not experience, that's going to take leadership. I honestly believe that with your support on Election Day, we'll realize those best years. One last point. Time and time again, I've demonstrated that I lead.
Thank you. Oh, I don't need a microphone. Who am I kidding? You know, they say that past performance is the best indicator of future performance. My experience the past 2 years on the Board of Selectmen has given me the opportunity to view what happens in our town on a macro level. It's not one specific board or commission, but it's having to understand how our entire community works in a synergistic way. We need to understand how things that happen in the Board of Ed affect other aspects of the budget. We need to understand how human services and what we may want to increase in human services will have an impact in other areas of the town as well. There are so many intricacies involved in this job, from understanding animal control to waste management and all of that in between. So yes, you do need some experience to get all of that done and to understand all of that. Most importantly is the process that we've already begun. David and I have given you a nuts and bolts bullet point. This is what we're going to do to get your taxes down. This is what we believe in. We believe in zero-based budgets. We're going to try to do some scenario-based budgeting so that we can figure out if all hell breaks loose, what are we going to do? I think these are important factors to consider. This is a process that we started a year and a half ago, and we did a good job last year. We listened to what everyone had to say. We were consensus builders, and we had to make the difficult decisions to make the right decision for all of us in our community. So I hope you will take that, along with my other experience serving 10 years on the PTO and my 5 years experience advocating in Hartford and Washington, which together makes a pretty good picture for what we have to do to get this town in the right shape, not only for next year, but in the years going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the League of Women Voters, our profound thanks to all the candidates. All right.